Sri Lanka's most powerful news brand.
Newsfirst Newsline with Faraz Shaukat Ali.
And a jolly good morning to you. This is Newsline, live as always from the Newsfirst studios in Dawson Street in Colombo. And of course we broadcast on TV1, which is a proud member of the Capital Maharaj Group. And today, on behalf of the chairman, Mr. Raja Mahendran, our his fellow directors, and everybody at Team Newsfirst, it's an absolute pleasure to wish you a very, very happy new year. A new year in which we trust that Sri Lanka will have better governance and everything else that we all aspire collectively to. And on that note, we have a very special guest to start the year's proceedings with, former chairman of the Bank of Ceylon and a public interest or a civic rights activist is Mr. Rusripala Tenakon. A very good morning to you, Mr. Rusripala, and a wonderful new year to you and to your family.
Thank you, Faraz. Very good morning to you also. And I wish all Sri Lankans and our viewers a very happy and a prosperous 2018. Thank
you indeed. Sri Lanka, it's what is it about our resilience? It appears to me that Sri Lankan culture drives our resilience in the face of all sorts of events that have taken place in Sri Lanka. The people in our country, as a tourist who's seated next to me on the flight in, said Sri Lankans are always smiling. They're always smiling.
Yeah.
And this lady, she's from Finland, is making her umpteenth visit here, helping the underprivileged children with their education, right through, all the way to university.
Yes.
And she said that we are all smiling. Why? How come? What is going on?
Yeah, for us, that is one quality that we can be proud of as Sri Lankans, because it is generally acknowledged by everybody, without any doubt, that over a period of time, that has been the identified cultural aspect of this country. The outlook of the people, they are friendly, they are smiling, they are helpful. These are the three factors that were the driving attractive forces in the culture, in our behavior in this country.
That's right, because even though the cost of living has been rising and coconuts are over 100 rupees and so on, the Sri Lankan culture of giving, of helping friends, family, and basically those who are suffering more than the next person, the help and the giving continues unabated.
Yeah.
It appears to me that our resilience has gone from strength to strength. We've had floods, we've had all sorts of disasters, landslides, the housing issues are still a challenge, and yet with all that, our people continue in unison.
Yes. I mean, when we recall all the important changes that have taken place in this country, including, during the ancient days, the fight for freedom in the country from foreign forces, and also creation of new political parties, all that, if you look carefully, have had some kind of a cultural background. And the driving force has been the culture behind. And there was a intent need by the people, experienced by the people, to preserve that culture, to continue that culture. And that is what has helped us to be in this situation, as you rightly said. Amidst all kinds of difficulties and hardships, we still manage to live as a nation together and be together at the right moment among the communities, all living together. I mean, more and more, our concerns are for the unity, for the well-being of the people living together harmoniously. That is the concern.
That is it.
And also, our attitudes towards the foreigners, whoever it is. You rightly said that some foreigner whom you mentioned particularly mentioned certain qualities. I mean, this is not an exceptional case that you are mentioning. Everybody.
It's the norm.
It's the norm. It's the norm.
It's the norm.
Everywhere it is. Not only that, you get a Sri Lankan to go overseas, will be identified with that culture.
Indeed.
That we are helpful, that we are smiling, that we are friendly. These are the qualities that are attributed to Sri Lankans.
And the other thing, of course, we haven't mentioned it. We're 7 minutes into the program. We haven't mentioned the word, so I don't know whether it's a bad word. But in the face of growing under-delivery and non-delivery on the part of our legislators, the Sri Lankans are carrying on, and they are smiling, benignly perhaps, but the Sri Lankan people are smiling at the inaction and the under-delivery and the underperformance of our legislators. Do you feel that that's all part of that culture, our culture of tolerance and so on?
No, I think there is a serious concern for us. Although there is a bit of a silence on that issue, or people are patiently waiting, there is a very serious concern, and everybody is alert to the fact that there has been an extremely poor performance than what was expected by the people, particularly as the time went on under the new government in the political scenario. You see, progressively they have not shown improvement. Progressively they have shown a decline in all things, The central bank reports, the statistical information that is available to us, all that indicates not a very good position or a situation.
And we are joined by several of our regular viewers who also take the time to SMS us some questions.
Yes.
And as Peggy, the famous Peggy, says, the country's greatest resource are its people.
Yes, of course, yes. There is no doubt about it. Unfortunately, the most undervalued resource in this country is also the people.
Indeed.
People are taken for a ride. That should not happen if people are our strength. Like, when Singapore started, when they had nothing to offer to the foreigners who were invited to come and invest and do business there. I remember what Lee Kuan Yew said, was what is recorded. He said, I have nothing to offer. No land, no water. I mean, I have only a limited resource, that is my 2 million people.
How true, isn't it, really? Very
exactly.
Very true.
And he built Singapore with that. Referring to the people, I would say, it recollects, what he said about the people. He really carefully, truly identified his resource base. His resource base was the 2 million population. And he built Singapore with that. We have such a vast population, educated, literate, behaved, disciplined, with all that. That is why I say the population factor as a resource base has not been taken care of properly, unfortunately. So this is the thing that has to be addressed. We hope the new year is full of hopes, full of expectations.
Indeed.
And this is one of our major expectations, that please don't take the people for granted. We want to be considered in the due place, in the due manner, that the people of this country should be regarded and taken care of.
Yes.
You see, they should not get the impression that they are being deceived by people.
Indeed.
That they are being taken for a ride by the people.
Indeed.
That they are not given the correct and the true picture and the information. In other words, they should not feel that they are not taken into trust. They should be taken into trust.
Right.
Debacle or otherwise. They should be told the truth.
On everything.
On everything. That is the basis of, I think, success for this country.
And Of course, a lot of intense interest from our viewers on the matter that sort of preoccupied this government ever since February 2015, and it is now January 2018. We are a little short of 3 years now, and that is, of course, the absolutely infamous and described by a member of the Attorney General's Department as perhaps the greatest financial fraud ever to be inflicted upon the people of the Republic of Sri Lanka, and that is none other than the Bond Gate matter. Yeah. So people are now saying to us, well, hopefully you won't have to report so much on the bond now that it's coming to an end. What's your take? Is that the right take, or is it something slightly different?
I wish that we did not have to talk about the bond anymore during this year.
Yeah.
But things went on in such a way, you see, due to the patience, due to the pressure of, survival pressures and all kinds of things, it got dragged, no doubt. You have to admit that situation.
Yeah.
But finally, the outcome is there, at least the final report on which the whole country can base their reliance and then see what is going to happen next is now handed over to the President. We will wait for a few more, maybe 1 or 2 weeks to see the final outcome of it. And I'm hopeful in this year.
Are you able to share any sort of inside information from that report?
Not so far, but then from what is reported here and there, and of course even without those, having carefully followed the proceedings of the Commission while it was on, you and I, we made it a point to even sometimes on important critical days to visit there. We have seen what the evidence unfolded, and very serious things. Besides the fraud per se itself, there were many other things that came to light about the governance part, about the role that the so-called good governance people in some quarters of the government, how they behaved and how they discharged their duties entrusted upon them by the people, how awful they were. So these are matters. I think, I have no doubt that the Commission has to make some observations on those, not because of any personal reason, but because of the responsibility that devolves around those. As part of the duties of the elected people and people in position and power in this country, with whom the authority lies, on whom the authority is given to drive the country. So therefore, I strongly believe and trust that the Commission would have given their attention to those factors as well, besides, of course, the fraud part that everybody know now in this country, from the deep far end corner to the city center, everybody know that a huge financial crime has been committed, perpetrated on a planned basis, with people in high places involved, and it has cost the country a huge amount at a time when the country is very disastrously facing an economic situation.
And are we right to be, should we be complacent, or should we continue to keep the focus on? Because what is your take when I say to you that the role of the media is not only to report the news, but also to explain the news?
For us, this is one instance where I have been repeatedly saying this in this program as well as in other forums that we were given opportunities to express views, that the media was in the forefront in this game. It was far beyond the state of reporting something. Being a reporter is one thing. Being a true media journalist or a guide is another thing. the role that the media played in these instances, not only in the bond issue, you take during the past period, the media came out with several exposures, unexpectedly emanating from quarters where we did not expect them to rise. See, the media was successful in reporting them to the public, and it was not merely reporting. That reporting media status is past. That stage is no more.
Right.
Nowhere in the world.
Right.
I mean, maybe some old, cool thinking people are really sticking on to those.
Yeah.
But media goes beyond that. They are very critical.
Right.
They give information.
Right.
They deliver information to the people on an analyzed basis.
Right.
That is the duty of the media.
Right.
You see, you report that there has been something happening somewhere. What is the use? The people will not know anything. But when you analyze and say, this is what it is, this is how it has happened, this is the evidence before us, that is super quality media behavior and disposal.
I love those words, super quality.
Yes. There is a world of difference. There's a world of difference between reporting something, that's gossip.
Almost.
I mean,
Yeah,
what we are doing is far beyond that. We analyze, collect the information, get experts to comment on those, and educate the people as to what is really going on.
And the ramifications of various decisions and so on.
Exactly. The repercussions the country will have to face because of those things. These are all parts of the role of the media.
Indeed.
I think in some instances,
Yes.
the politicians are far behind the media in this country. You know,
Yes.
their role comparatively, when you put side by side,
Yes.
you know, they remain far behind, because they are the people who should be telling the people and the public, this is where the country is going, this is what is going to happen, these are our foresights on various things, our forecasts and foresights. I mean, instead, the media has taken that role, and media is the driving force. At least they are trying to hardly to make them say so or do that. And to some extent you have succeeded. Those politicians who would otherwise have wished to remain silent,
Yes.
and enjoy their perks,
Yes.
rather than getting involved in
Yeah.
highly critical areas, were forced to come out of their shells and then give various views and various things.
Indeed.
So it's a good sign. I commend the media,
Right.
the role that they have played there in the last year, and the role that they are continuing to play. And with regard to one last thing about this bond thing,
Yes.
I don't think that anybody in this country has to be complacent about what is going to happen in the bond scam. Because this is one area we are certain that the media will not permit it to be buried.
Indeed. And in the last few seconds, the part of the President Sirisena's message to all of us is that he says, wish you a happy and prosperous 2018. Let us unite to build a nation where the dividends of sustainable development will be shared by all.
This is
Going on the right track?
This is the broadest expectation of the people. This is the expectation of the people. After all, they have taken a big risk.
Yes.
In electing a new president, electing a new government in place, and then relying on that government and patiently waiting for the government with all these complications to deliver what the people expect. So therefore, people have done their part of the job. People have done their part of the duty.
Yes.
So it is left for the politicians and the rulers. I don't use the word rulers really, but the politicians to deliver their part.
And another viewer, and thank you very much for this, I've got several of these, who says, well done, Newsline. Well, thank you. But we mustn't also forget that a lot of people came forward along, during the time that we started highlighting the conflict of interest and the departure from process at the bond matter. A lot of people came out, one by one they came forward. And you as well, Mr. Sipali, you've come out and you've been a constant feature of Bondgate, almost as much as the so-called perpetrators of this big fraud. But Mr. Sipali, you have been so disturbed, or have you? Is that why you've decided to become a candidate at the local government elections? What drove you towards that?
You see, being critical all throughout, without indicating to the people the future line that a person thinks is correct, is, I think, something wanting there. So I felt that, well, you identify yourself with, according to your conscience, whom you think are on the right track. So therefore, for that reason, and also politics, fortunately or unfortunately for us in this country, is a platform for expression. Is also a platform for delivery.
Yeah.
So both combined, I think this is a time that not only me, I wish several others who have been highly critical of various things about the performance, the deliveries, about the manner in which the governance is being conducted, should come forward and give the people a chance. Because the question that the media rightly put to the people all these days was, whom do you want us to support?
Indeed.
I mean, that is the question indirectly you have been putting. You talk about ministers doing wrong things, you talk about people even higher than the ministers doing wrong things. They are deviating from practices and rules. So, I mean, then the next question that automatically follows is, people ask, okay, what do you want us to do? Whom do you think we should rely on? Or whom do you think we should try on? So therefore, I thought, I don't think it's too early for me to comment on that, but I think we have chosen correctly to which group we should belong to serve the people. Of course, there will be a lot of issues, lot of things that are yet to be resolved in those, in whatever group you are. But that's apart. There is something that could be done. There is a little contribution that every citizen in the smallest possible way can give to the life of the country.
And the least of all that would be to exercise your franchise.
Of course, it is a must. Now, this is an instance where this local government election, which is held after a prolonged period, on the one hand, and on the other hand, after a new government has been given a try for more than 2 years during their short 5-year period to perform, this is an ideal opportunity to express how the people feel about their performance. Why I say is, now the election is being fought or conducted with the forces not united, with divided. So people have a better choice. In the divided arena, people can choose, okay, although you are in the government, you have not done your part correctly. Or instead, you have done several wrongs. And you, being in the government, although not active, but you have not resorted to corruption. But so people can have the choice. And you, being in the opposition, you are just trying to stage another, by some means, to come back into power. To do what? I mean, these are choices that the people have in a divided arena. So I think, logically, this is a very good opportunity for the people to think carefully and exercise their franchise, as you rightly said. Fundamentally most important thing for the people.
Yeah.
For us, the only weapon we have
Is that?
we poor people have a very strong weapon, that is the franchise. Of course, what we must do is, this is not going to change the government change or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, people still have the chance of expressing their views, expressing their satisfaction or otherwise in this election.
I've got a couple of questions in the last couple of minutes. One says that the only hope is if the voter abandons party politics and votes with their conscience. Is that?
That is one of the basic elements. I think the whole idea of this ward selection of a person from a ward, a good person, is a good thing. And also you see, when you put various people to be represented in their list, from that itself you can judge what these people are, who these people have been, what they profess to do. All that can be judged. So it is a good thing. Forget the party. You see, the worst thing that can happen for us in this country is, we are blue, we are green, we are red. What is this? Who is green? Who is blue? Who is red? This is nonsense.
Let's leave the final question to this is the second time this morning, but to Peggy, who asks, if push comes to shove and nothing comes out of the bond scam, can I, as a citizen, sue the central bank?
Of course, there are various. I mean, the whole country will join him, that we were, no doubt, in pushing this forward. That message has been very strongly and clearly driven to the minds of the people.
Yeah.
That is why we say we are on a very strong wicket. We don't have to depend anymore on the sympathies of rulers. The people have taken a decision. People know what to do. And all this, don't forget, all these appointments of commissions, everything happened due to the pressure.
Indeed.
Otherwise, it would have been buried long ago.
And therefore, on that note, thank goodness that there is an executive president.
Of course. And we pray that it was safeguarded, at least for the passage of during short period.
Indeed. I think the president's behavior on this part has been pretty exemplary in terms of the bond.
Exactly.
Bond gate report.
Very full of patience, full of statesmanship, and full of confidence in what he's doing.
Wonderful. Once again, Mr. Rispala, wish you a very happy New Year, in which all your hopes and aspirations will come to pass. And we wish you all the very same as we end the first program for 2018 on Newsline. Do take care. Have an excellent New Year, and one in which God will envelope you in His care. Take care, and God bless.
Newsfirst, Newsline with Faraz Shaukut Ali.